Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for February 24th through March 2nd, 2025. So, as we begin this weekly reading, I'd like to thank everyone who is always supporting the channel and this weekly series in particular. And also, I'd like to welcome any of you who are new to our angelic community and you're just happen to find us for the very first time. So, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe, select the all notification bell, like or dislike, and of course, leave your comments. And likewise, if during the course of watching this angel reading, you feel called to have an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services, and you'll find that link in the description area beneath this video. Just be aware right now, since I've this year, since September, started a new teaching appointment, that my schedule has changed, and so I'm more likely to have Saturday appointments available, and also be aware that there could be possibilities for Friday evenings, and maybe sometimes during the week after maybe 5 or something, but otherwise Saturday is the main day available. Also, if you'd just like to support my channel with an donation, you can use my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom LLC. You'll find that in the description area beneath the video as well. And one other thing, I don't usually have anybody ask me about it, but on my website, the form or whatever to get a reading, that doesn't work. And so you just go and select the type of reading you want. There should be a PayPal button there. And then once you do that, I will send you a confirmation email and all the other information you need to set up an appointment. Okay? All right. So let's take a deep breath together. And just connecting in with the energy for this particular week. And allow yourself to be grounded by seeing roots growing down from your feet into the crystalline heart of the earth. And take a moment to make that connection, and then to feel the wisdom of earth flowing up through you. And just breathe in those frequencies. And feel the love of Lady Gaia surrounding you. So it's interesting, while we were doing that, I was seeing sort of wands, like in the Eight of Wands, just for flying by at a diagonal as if they're about to land somewhere. And, this is always considered a travel card because of that sense of something is about to land. My sense of it is, and then I'm seeing this huge umbrella, sort of like when you're having a picnic outside, and that's my symbol. The umbrella's for protection. It might be that some of you might be worried about whether, making some travel plans, and worried about the potential of the flight or the timing. And is it a safe time to travel? I'll just say that in the most general way. And the sense I get is with that umbrella, the symbol of protection, which gave me sort of that vacation-y sort of feeling to it, that, that everything would be well. So just in case you're worried about that, um, in general, this might mean, in a more general sense, um, obviously something moving, right? And something landing, or it feels like something coming in that you've been wanting to manifest or been waiting for. And so that, in that sense, that if this change comes about suddenly or unexpectedly, just know that, the swiftness of this, sometimes when things happen, we might have put it out there in the universe, but we're never really prepared for when it occurs. And you know it usually comes and it kind of feels like it's disrupting things, but it's something you wanted, but now it's not coming when you wanted it, so it feels very disruptive. And we try to keep everything sort of perfect, right? We want everything to just be easy and smooth and sort of fit into our plans and our schedule. And you often, that isn't the way it goes. And so just know that everything will work. It will, give it time, things will integrate, go with it, trust the universe, trust the messages that you're receiving, trust that the timing is perfect for you in your life, trust that that disruption is also perfect for you, however you experience it, and just breathe and focus on receiving. They're showing me a tree with a rather large trunk, and so I get this sense of really focus, be grounded, and be focused on what it is that you truly want right now. Sometimes the things that we ask for, they come, and there's sometimes a shift in us. And so you don't necessarily have to receive that either. Like if you've already moved on, or it's something about it has changed. So take from it what you can utilize, and leave the rest. And that's always to your discretion from the universe's perspective. Take what you need and leave the rest. So don't feel forced into anything. The universe enjoys bringing about opportunities and gifts for us, but um, we don't have to take everything. It's not like you're saying you're ungrateful, but if you check in, if you ground yourself, and then focus and listen to your heart, where it's at in this moment, because that's your clearest moment of truth, where your heart flame is passionately, what your heart flame is passionately desiring in that moment, is where your truth is. And so then it's up to you to discern that truth and only utilize what, of the opportunities that you're being given, utilize what is in alignment with that and helps you to fulfill that. I just saw the word velocity. So, you know, it feels like, around the speed of which things might be happen, or also like I get a sense of the volume of, it might overwhelm or it might underwhelm, but by being grounded in knowing what you truly desire and what your heart is most passionate about now, and where you've arrived in yourself, is where you get the clarity and about what you need and how to utilize those resources that are being made available to you. And this is interesting. I don't know. This is the first time I keep seeing piano keys in front of me. And that's a first. Hmm. So maybe this is for someone who has been thinking about, taking piano lessons, or anyone who's just been thinking about learning something creative. Maybe you've been thinking about, you know, learning how to crochet, or something that requires a skill, a new skill or creative skill in particular, since they show me these piano keys. And this might not sort of fit into your career, but it's something that you've been curious about and something that your heart just desires, Um, and you said to yourself, I've always wanted to learn. And maybe you didn't have the resources and now you do, but now you don't have the time. So, you know, be open to listening to this and moving, acting on it, because it will serve some purpose for you. And it doesn't mean that you're just changing your career, but what it might mean is that it brings more joy into your life and makes um, and adds more variety to your daily routines. And it might be that one little thing that just shifts the way you feel about the world and the way you feel about yourself and the life you've been living. Anything that can bring a spark of joy into your life, never question it, but act on it. And it doesn't have to be for anybody but you. And that's what's really important, that you're inviting this sort of transformation or change into your life. Seeing the piano keys again. And I'm seeing them sort of light up, and I don't really, as a musician, but hey, if it makes you happy, you should do it. With those little programs they have where the keyboards light up. So this might also mean don't sort of set an expectation on yourself or pigeonhole yourself in a way. So like if you learn to play piano on an app, then go for it. If it's not a traditional way of doing this, but it brings you joy and it just gets you excited, then be open to that. All right. So it's not going away. So that seems something very important. Let's see what happens as we move along with the reading. Okay. So the archangel that we're working with this week, it's been a while, Archangel Christine. And it says, accept the Christ light, act with wisdom and loving compassion. And Archangel Christine works with Archangel Jophiel. It's the crown chakra. Okay, we gotta stop obsessing over the cards. And so Archangel Christine, she's holding that ball, that crystal ball that sort of has a rainbow colors in it, but very translucent. And so she enhances your crown chakra. And if you call upon Archangel Christine, and let's just tune into her energy for a moment. And she's sort of showing me a home. And sort of, I got this sense of bringing in this Christ light energy into your home. So you can do this in a few ways. First of all, you can call upon the water dragons. And what I would recommend is working with the dragons, the earth dragons, to clear the land um, beneath your home. And then the air dragons to clear the atmosphere in your home, and also to clear your mental um, energy field, to kind of uh, clear your thoughts, remove those um, sort of, it's almost like having those clouds that kind of just loom over your mind, and they create sort of a heavy perspective of life, sort of almost an oppressive mind. And so the air dragons can help come in and really swoop in and clear that away. They don't breathe fire, but they breathe out this sort of um, light blue clouds that just kind of clear the energy. And then your fire dragons to come in and totally protect your home by removing all lower vibrations and frequencies. And then invite the water dragons to just surround your home and fill your every room of your home with Christ's light. And now she shows me sort of almost the inside of a room of a home where you kind of have these, I don't know if it's bay windows or sort of to the back of the home that might overlook, the sea or the ocean or some landscape. And so it just gives a sense of that they are like sliding doors or something, but like doors of opportunity. And it's just this sense of clarity in the home once you invite the dragons in to do this for you. And then connecting in with Archangel Christiel. I'm sorry, Archangel Christine. And you'll feel her standing over you and placing this energy crystal in your crown chakra. And just feel the petals of your crown chakra just open up and be receptive to the universe, all the connections of communication with the divine and with the universe. And bringing you greater clarity and understanding with the angels that you're working with. And she says, pay attention to your daydreams, because your daydreams have an important influence, the word she wrote, on your manifestations. It's the next word that she wrote. in a really incredible way. And she's saying it's really important right now to balance. She's writing the word balance. So to really make sure that in terms of balance, boundaries, right? That you have clear boundaries. And it comes back to that sense of knowing what's enough. That that awareness of what we've been talking about for several weeks now, about rest and pause and knowing what's enough, that is sort of balance keeping. The best word I could think of in the moment. You know, you're not being aware that when you're giving too much of yourself, or you're allowing people to take advantage, because you're not willing to establish the boundaries for yourself. And it's because often you think you're going to hurt somebody's feelings, or you're going to start, some kind of confusion or conflict. And if you have the fear of setting boundaries, then you can manifest those fears. However, if you know that this is just what's right for you in the moment, nobody else will take it any other way. And if they do, you have to learn not really to get involved in other people's drama, so that if you're caring about how they're going to take it, then within that, you're not establishing boundaries while trying to. You're already crossing the boundaries when you do that, because it's not your role to be concerned about how it's going to impact them. Because, and I know that this is like, talking to myself, and we think we're doing this as, light workers. We want to be careful and not, compassionate to everyone. And we think this is how we do it and can accomplish that. But what you're really doing is getting into their curriculum. And, it's almost like we're all actors on a stage, right? And our roles are meant to impact, trigger, or inspire. And the reception of the impact, the inspiration, etc., that's not our job to try to make those things happen in a certain way or not. Because the way they take it from their perspective is how they need to, in order for their role to be ignited and to play itself out to its conclusion of healing, if that makes sense. So they write release. She writes release that need to control, because that takes you into boundaries, outside of your boundaries. And then when you get your head bitten off for it, or your feelings hurt, it's your lesson to learn not to go too far, but to do what is just right. Just like the three little babies, or whatever that story was. Kept saying it's just right, right? A Goldilocks. Okay. So let's take a look. That's all the messages I'm getting from Archangel Christine. Keep it here. That's correct. So we can see her message. All right, so the cards were laid out from right to left again. So this is about us really, focusing on the internal, internal perspective of our lives, because this is where it all really happens, right? What's whatever's going on inside of us, what we're seeing outside of us is a projection of that, or the perception of that. So let's take a look at the first card. And I believe this is the Emperor. Very clear to see, actually. And, here we see this veil behind the Emperor, and then it feels like he's sort of outdoors, doesn't it? His throne is, in that outer realm. And we see this path over here that's leading to some kind of tower. Don't know what that might mean, but you see he's placed at his feet, his sort of war armor. So, and he's replacing it with sort of this laurel wreath, right? And so that gives me a sense about, you know, his sense of leadership, and where he's placing that armor, like guardedness, that warrior mind, the domination mind. He's placing that beneath his throne on the floor. And the floor sort of has this sort of chessboard, feeling to it. Um, Sort of this strategy, thinking things through, not being slow to anger, um, and really focusing on, I don't know, this sort of gives us this laurel wreath sort of, gives me a sense of not just about winning, right? But it's about it's about the intelligence for me, and it's many may disagree, but it's about that crowning glory, the wisdom, placing that laurel wreath around the head like that. So, and his shield is off to his side. He's always prepared to defend for the higher good, right? But he's demonstrating here that he's slow to move, to act on that. And it's interesting because his foot sort of almost seems to be ready to touch that winding path that leads up to that tower. And we can see that there's a lot of clouds looming over. And I don't know if this is like the tower in the leading to the tower card, which would be very interesting, actually, where that you kind of have that um, Uranus energy, where things kind of all of a sudden just are dismantled, those walls that we erect. So there's this control and this, someone, a leader who's willing to let go of those things, those walls, right? He's not afraid of the challenge. He can face those moments when he has to make those choices that are, at the onset is like nothing. Either choice is a winning choice, but he has to make that. He knows he has to make that choice that's for the highest good, right? And it's not an easy choice to make. So in this week, starting off with this sort of this energy that's confronting us, and although we see these symbols and how he's placing certain things above and above the others, we still get, just looking at it, we see this fearsome character here. And so we have to be aware in ourselves, not to um, be this, not to abuse our power, right? Not to be this domineering figure, and not to give our power away to domineering figures. And pay attention to leaders, because this is a time right now to discern leadership, the kind of leaders that we really want. And sometimes it's, seeing through that veil, seeing beyond that veil, where is this person leading us ultimately? And maybe it's time for us to look at that greater, um, sort of look at the long range goal, or see the trajectory of, where this is going to take us. And, and maybe we're being called to defend, right? To defend our realm, our government, our country, in a sense, our communities. How can we do this with a winning plan that and strategy that really is focused on the higher good? And maybe we're all learning together that right now in the world, this kind of power, this old vision of power, is something that's actually being dismantled in front of our eyes as we're looking at it, and it's confronting us. And for the first time, we've all said we don't like this kind of power, but yet we all rely on it. And we put the blame on one person for behaving irrational when we've all been participating in it in um, in our own unique ways that we just don't see. And so this might force us to see it within ourselves, because if you don't see it within yourself, you won't find the solution for what is happening out there. So this reading is really interesting because it's drawing us into something very deep and very confronting. And that tower in the background tells us that um, if we don't deal with it up front, where the empress, it's going to lead to a really catastrophic tower moment in our lives. It will be the most profound and healing moment of your life, but it might also feel like the thing that you're not ready for, kind of thing. And you know, someone recently, and I know people have been sort of hearing, oh, we're at the end times, that's coming from religions. And one of my friends was telling me she had a dream that, told her the date she's gonna die. And I remember years ago, someone said to me that he had a dream and the angels are coming down and killing everyone. And, he was worried about end times at that point, 20, 30 years ago. And what came to me immediately was, when I asked him, I said, did you see any blood? That's what the angel said to me. Ask him, he said no. And I said, that means that they're not killing the people, but they're just transmuting, right? Clearing the negative energy that's around you, that's around humanity, that's been holding them back. So that process is starting. Now we're in that time. We are in an end time. We're in an end of an end of an age where the dark forces had full reign. And when we had that on the that January new moon, or was it? I think it was. I don't know if it was a new moon or full moon, but it was the 13th. That moon, we, you know, got that 50%, 51% tipping point into the light. So we're in an ending of an age. And just like with all things in our lives, the transitions in our lives, it always feels like it's about to get, it always feels like it's at its worst, that phrase, before it gets to be really good, right? And it's because we have to face everything that we mounted around the forthcoming end. It's really our fear of death that causes us to make these foolish choices, because we're afraid of the endings instead of being open to the beginnings that will follow them. And just like death itself, it is just the beginning of an incredible, um, so many things: clarity, unity, peace, and full embrace of love and oneness. But this is the same thing that happens in our lives, and we see these cycles in our lives. So I was saying to someone, we're in a cycle of the universe is eternal, but but the time linear reality is within that eternal, um, you know is it within the site is it within eternity, let's put it that way. And so, the planet and everything that it's doing, yes, it's climate change and things that we need to participate and do better, but it's also a purification. The planet has to purify itself as well, right? Just like we go through purifications in our lives. And that purification is what brings about a closure, so that you're prepared for the new, life, or new opportunities and rewards. So just send all this to say, do not be afraid of this confronting era, uh, moments that we're in right now, because to um, it's bringing us to a new paradigm of power, where love is now truly seen as what has always been the real power. And it has incredible influence when we believe in it and have faith in it and are ready to work with it. Look at this, all of that. And here's the world card. And I just said all that. And that, what the world card, one of its biggest things is about the ending of a cycle, coming to the completion of a cycle. And I just went off on all of that, thinking to myself, what are you talking about, Barry? Don't scare them. But I was trying to do the opposite of that. But this kind of confirms it, right? That a new order of world power, of understanding of world power, excuse me, getting better, but a lot of crystal healing I was able to work with this week. So helped me fast track this cold. But we have two major arcana cards. So this is really about a bigger picture here. And there's a bigger picture that is unfolding for you in this week. A culmination of experiences, that you're ready to release. And it has really to do with this sense of power. So it will unfold. Either you are intentionally, replacing that old paradigm of control with this winning force of love, all the ideas of love and and manifestation and focusing and being grounded and rooted in the wisdom of love and the earth, from the angelic realms, from the wisdom of your soul and all the lives that it's lived. The power and the resources of love are within you. And the God that lights your soul, illuminated it, lives within you and is you, reflecting and giving you all power to create unlimited possibilities or unlimited impossibilities. It's up to you to no longer create from fear and let it run amok and create a world in which you cannot imagine living within. You don't have to live within that world. You just don't have to allow people, dictators, to tell you what your world is like. Don't make them, don't give them the power to put in your mind or your tongue or your heart that is the world is full of evil and it's gone crazy and the world is a disaster and it's going to hell in a handbasket, that there's no hope or no reason to have faith, because that is the only thing they have power to do. That kind of power uses your power to convince and influence you to believe and see the world the way they want you to see it, so that you manifest that world collectively. But if you unplug yourself and not believe, now this does not mean that they are not trying to do the things that they say they're doing. But what you have to understand is you cannot believe that they have the power, that their power is stronger than love to make those things eternal. They may be able to make temporary decisions and create chaos in the world, but chaos can only exist if you cannot see truth with your heart. The best way I can say this to you, I've been having trouble with one of my classes, but I said to them on the first day, because the angels said it through my mouth before I could even stop myself, you are the brightest students in the world. And it is for this reason that I will never change my mind no matter what you do. I will always see you. No matter how much you choose to struggle with yourself or choose to struggle with me, I am going to always, everything I do will be to get to the truth of who you are. And this is what I'm saying. No matter what they are doing and what they're trying to convince you, to persuade you, to influence you, because when somebody can influence you, they are using your power of light to direct it to what they want it to be and then cause it to be manifested. Fear needs collective power to focus upon its agenda. And I mean collective power, meaning light, divine light, that each soul is radiant and abundant and resplendent in this resource. That is the only way. Your bullies, anybody that makes you afraid of them, that's what they're doing. It's like the Wizard of Oz. He was just creating all that smoke and blah 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 blah. And as soon as they pull the curtain, that's who it is. No more need to be afraid. He had to use all those tricks to get to maintain the power. But when he was discovered, he realized that he didn't need that, because now the people could just love him. And so people like this don't realize that. And you must not give away your power. You are the only one, each and every one of us, one at a time and together, has the power to bring the world where we want it to be. Okay, what is this? With all those little so this is the Knight of Cups, and this is sort of right now it's just sort of giving us a sense of just being passionate, you know, loving and passionate. Don't let anybody uh, sort of kill your dreams, right? Dream on. Like, he's the dreamer of dreams. You know, don't let anybody kill your dreams. Like Archangel Christine just said earlier, wow, about your daydreams, right? And the power of influence they have on manifestation. And this Knight is sort of the warrior of that ideal. Um, this is the time to dream big dreams, dream passionately in the face of this tyranny. Because when you do that, when you're daydreaming, your power is being redirected to the light of source and not to the fear and illusions of oppression and great darkness. So don't give away your power. Whenever you're worried or something's got you all screwed up, then go into one of those daydreams and focus on your deepest desire. See yourself having what you want, and you're just, as if you're just swimming in unlimited possibilities. And this is the card from the bottom of the deck. What does that say? Oh, so this is the Ace of Cups, the Kunchas. Interesting image because it lacks water in it, but it's this beautiful tree and this fall setting. And, you know, it's almost like the leaves and, um, you know, although the leaves have fallen to the ground, but it's sort of this fullness, right? Um, this is an interesting image for this card, and it gives us something to think about. And there's this little stone that's standing there. I don't know if it's a grave or, but, and there's no guidebook for this deck yet to come out. And so the fall season, you know, we were talking about that death again, right? Um, but isn't it always amazing that the fall season sort of, you know, represents this ending, um, when the earth is going to become barren, or it looks like it's going to be like it's barren, but yet there's full of seeds beneath the brush, and that are being where the earth is impregnated and is waiting to for those seeds. They will they will grow again, right, and restore life. So what are the seeds right now that you don't see? So it's almost like they're saying that your cup is full, but you don't see them. You don't see it. And they drawing your attention to thinking about these seeds that lay beneath the surface of these, in this sense, within your soul, that will regenerate and restore. You're the gift of life right now, carrying in the belly of your soul deep passions and seeds of life, gifts of life. And what is it that you want to give from the fullness of your heart? What is it that you want to give? And you really have to, nurture these seeds by your dreams, by your desires. That will cause those seeds to be, it's almost like the sperm, I don't know if the word is inseminating the eggs, but your desires, your dreams, your passions, this is what is going to cause those seeds to grow. So think about this right now, because this is really important. Don't give your power to the fears around you. Focus on the seeds that are within your soul, that are there. They've been planted there since the beginning of your creation, not just in this life, but the spark of this creation of your soul. And they are now these seeds. The old is being cleared so that these seeds can burst forth and create the new paradigm, the new golden age. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have a beautiful, beautiful week. God bless you.